back. AP.
Now at 11, a former Secret Service agent assigned to Jackie Kennedy talks about the First Lady, and hundreds just might get to keep their jobs, but at what cost? The news starts in 60 seconds.
If you think you have to trade power for fuel economy, think again. The 2012 Lincoln MKX. It's not just luxury, it's smarter than that.
The gas mileage on this car is great. I have to fill up every 3 weeks. That saves money, so I can do things that I like to do rather than wasting my money on gas. My name is Kate Hughes, and this is my Ford Focus. It just keeps going up. My fuel mileage, it just keeps going up and up and up, and I love seeing that number go higher.
Now get a fun and fuel-efficient 2012 Focus for just $209 a month. Just $209.
380 miles till empty. That will last me a month.
Now at 11.
I think it's the first good news I've heard in a long time, and certainly a step in the right direction.
Could Cleveland teachers be staying in the classroom?
I got shot in the head.
Sadness for a World War veteran after his war medals are stolen.
I'm Mark Johnson. A sign of things to come. Freeze watches up. This front is going to bring in some chilly air. I'll tell you how cold.
And a birth control pill for men. Could it be an option soon?
News Channel 5 on your side starts now.
All new at 11, it could be back to the drawing board for Cleveland schools. Hello, everybody. I'm Tracy Carloss. Danita is off tonight. The district is facing another double-digit deficit. However, it means hundreds of teachers may keep their jobs. News Channel 5's Deborah Lee is in the newsroom with this developing story. Deb, these on-again, off-again layoffs are off again?
Well, it's not going to be official until the board votes on September 27th, but the CEO is recommending that they cancel layoffs that are due to take effect in just a few weeks. Members of the Cleveland Teachers Union applaud the recommendation, calling it a step in the right direction. CEO Eric Gordon announcing to the overflow crowd that he's recommending that most of the 300-plus teacher layoff notices sent out in August be rescinded. He says it's about class sizes.
I promised that continuously, that we wouldn't let them balloon past 40. This is the solution to making that happen.
Gordon says he doesn't have an exact number of layoffs to be canceled, but Joe and April Nagorski, who have a new baby at home, hope they are on that list.
This means the world to us. I mean, it'll save the children. I don't know how I was going to go in and tell 20 kindergartners that after 30 days of them getting comfortable with me, that I was then going to be walking away from them.
Until I have that piece of paper in my hand that says I have my job back, I don't necessarily plan on it happening. I have to wait until I see it in black and white on a piece of paper to know for sure.
Canceling the layoffs and a $14.5 million cut in state funds wipes out a surplus and leaves the district with an $11.1 million deficit that has to be erased by October. Gordon's predicting those cuts won't be pretty.
We all need to solve this problem together, because we are not going to be able to continue to implement scenario B and keep cuts away from kids if we do not do it together.
Now, again, this is just a recommendation. The board votes on the 27th, and if they bring the teachers back, they'll be looking at a number of ways to cut that $11 million deficit. Possibilities include everything from textbooks to more building closures. In the newsroom, Deborah Lee, News Channel 5.
Deb, thanks very much. From teachers trying to keep their jobs to millions of Ohioans just trying to find a job. Today, President Obama rolled into Columbus with high emphasis on selling his jobs plan to the Buckeye State. But it is easier said than done. News Channel 5's John Cossack reports now from Columbus.
As crews work to dismantle the stage used for this afternoon's rally, the president is hoping that the people who heard his message here will take action on it and contact their legislators about passing this JOB Act. The $447 billion package of middle-class tax cuts and spending promises Ohio a number of things. First, nearly $1 billion to refurbish schools like the one the president visited today. Close to $130 million of that would be headed Cleveland's way. It would also provide to state and local government enough, the president says, to keep 14,000 teachers and first responders on the job. And money would also be set aside for infrastructure improvement.
There are construction projects like these all across the country just waiting to get started, and there are millions of unemployed construction workers who are looking for a job. So my question to Congress is, what on earth are we waiting for?
I thought it was good news for America. I'm out of a job, and it'd be good to see, more construction jobs in this area, especially on the schools.
400 of the $447 billion plan, though, would be paid for by taxes raised on those making over $200,000 a year. That's something Republicans in the past have objected to and are likely to put up a fight about again. In Columbus, John Kosick, News Channel 5.
Today's visit was the President Obama's third to Ohio just this year. It's his 15th since becoming commander-in-chief back in 2009. Well, millions of Americans are struggling to find a steady job, and that has pushed the nation's poverty rate to a new high. The Census Bureau says nearly 1 in 6 Americans are living in poverty. And because of the recession, the poverty rate over the past 3 years has risen the fastest since the early 1980s. The overall poverty rate climbed to 15%, or more than 46 million people. When President Obama addressed the nation just a few days ago about his jobs plan, a local teacher was in the audience in Washington, D.C. A once-in-a-lifetime experience for a third-grade Cleveland teacher. Nicole Gentile is a third-grade teacher at Cleveland's Marion Sterling Elementary School. She's been a teacher in the district 10 years.
I love it.
For Gentile, her job is a labor of love, and that might just be why the teachers union submitted her name to the White House. And then the phone call came.
We would like to invite you to the White House to sit with the First Lady. And I was shocked. I didn't know what to say.
Gentile met the First Lady and the President.
As I went up to the President and hugged him.
She watched the President's speech in the First Lady's box.
But she did say thank you for what you do every day in the classrooms.
The President says his plan will create more jobs and get teachers back in the classroom, something that Gentile is hoping for. You see, she is set to be laid off October 3rd, and her husband is already out of a job.
I keep hoping that somehow it'll work out and that all the Cleveland teachers will be back into their classrooms. This new jobs bill makes me very hopeful. Watch President address joint session.
Gentile wrote down the details about the time she spent in Washington and has some keepsakes of her once-in-a-lifetime visit. Gentile could be among the teachers keeping their jobs if the Board of Education approves the plan recommended by the CEO. In Summit County now, the majority of voters in Akron want to keep current Mayor Don Plisquallic on the ballot for the November elections. Plisquallic beat Democratic contender Mike Williams in tonight's primary election with nearly 55% of the vote. He will face Republican Jennifer Hansel in the fall. The GOP's proposal to shrink Ohio's congressional districts to 16 may be some welcome news to Democrat Dennis Kucinich. Kucinich's district number 10 will combine with another district along Lake Erie and perhaps keep him here in Ohio for a possible re-election run. Kucinich would most likely have to face longtime Toledo area Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur. Meantime, Summit County-based Democrat Betty Sutton would shift into Republican Jim Renace's district.
Now, with Northeast Ohio's most powerful radar, this is your Power 5 Doppler Network weather.
Well, we had some big old thunder boomers today, as expected, primarily east of Interstate 77 and primarily through Portage County and Trumbull counties and Mahoning County this evening. That's pretty much it. We've got ground clutter now in the Power 5 with temperatures generally middle and upper 60s and still a few lower 70s there. Worcester to Akron to Canton to Dover, New Philly. Here's what's left of that weak line of thunderstorms. I say weak because it really didn't extend too far westward into Ohio. But again, we did have one thunder cell that did produce some 1-inch hail, some severe quarter-sized hail in Garrettsville and Newton Falls. Now, that rain's gone. Does that mean you're dry tonight? And how chilly is the weather going to be for Thursday and Friday? Find out coming up.
Thanks, Mark. New tonight, a Madison Township man who suddenly vanished from his home last month was found dead in New York. Police in Lafayette, New York, found the body of Larry Fultz on Sunday near an unused grain silo just off U.S. Route 11. He was last seen August 5th at his workplace in Chardon. His car was later found in New York on August 7th. His cause of death is not known, and the case remains under investigation tonight. A Cuyahoga County Sheriff's deputy is accused of exposing himself not once but twice in the Metro Parks. Rangers arrested Paul Lawrence at his home in Middleburg Heights this morning. Police say one incident happened in Rocky River back in June, the other last month in Lakewood. Lawrence was off duty during both incidents. He posted bond and remains on leave tonight. He has been a pastor for more than 25 years, and tonight he's facing criminal charges. Charles J. Matthews is accused of not paying more than $90,000 in taxes that were withheld from paychecks of Mount Zion Baptist Church employees. Prosecutors allege he funneled that money into a private account for personal use. A court date